ban phase. Let's warm up this server, and let's get it on.
Well, operator bands gracing our screen. Expect the Kaid to be paired with maybe a Bandit, maybe a Mira. Then likely double Heartbreach coming out from Spacestation would be the traditional band. Spacestation surprised us a little bit, Sam, with some of their bands throughout the day or throughout the tournament. We've definitely seen them go for some unorthodox picks, but I think today they want to keep it simple. They want to make things go as cleanly as possible up against Furia. They will be removing both Thermite and the Ace, so forcing Furia to adapt with some of those maybe more awkward hard breachers, coming in with the Habana, coming in with the Maverick, a lot of big walls you want to be opening on Clubhouse that you're not going to have a lot tougher of a time. Thankfully, Furia banned out double electricity with both the Kaid and the Bandit being removed, so not the end of the world for them to have to deal with those walls anyways. Full focus on the hard breach through operator bans is very common on a map like Clubhouse.
Yeah, 100%, my friend. This is the exact bans you want to see for both respective squads right off rip here.
Yeah.
Clubhouse, you really want to attack those hard breachers like you're saying, especially when you think about things like CCTV wall upstairs, you think about things like Jacuzzi. All of these are of the utmost importance for your offensive squad to be able to harness and attack in order to work your way into these respective bomb sites. If you don't have ease of access to those, then things can get highly complicated as you know, tend to tunnel in. You end up getting pigeonholed into different ways into the map, and that's what the defense wants on Clubhouse, man. If they can get you into those tight-knit areas, those shotguns will sing.
Oh, absolutely, Sam. And we'll start in the basement, bottom floor for Clubhouse for SSG. You're going to have that clash being played by Ash, and we'll see exactly where he wants to play that. Sometimes we do see it kind of aggressive over towards the main stairs. You can see it kind of jumping up into an aggressive spot for sure. So far, they've got a bit of a roam going on, but I don't think it's anything too crazy. Just J9O is currently playing inside a secret, and I can't imagine he's going to waste too much time there. Benji could be getting a little cheeky, though. I like this Nitro cell. There's a drone up in the rafters of Garage, but it's not going to catch this play.
Listen, Jesse, if there's one thing that we need to highlight very early on about this series right here, guys, in this matchup, it's that you're going to see the kid gloves come off. You're going to see a lot of probably high-flying antics because, yes, there is a lot of money on the line, but these teams, they want to limit test themselves, you know, particularly SSG up against what is arguably one of the best rosters we have to offer in Rainbow Six. So this is the time right here. Try everything. Throw the kitchen sink at your opponent and see if it works.
And it does work, Sam. Perfectly tossed. Benjo waits for the door to open. He's got the timing and kills the Capitao. That's a really important operator to take off the board. That's going to be one of those execute operators that can remove players from really powerful positions. Now taking blue could be a whole lot more awkward. Now if you want to go for a push and maybe smoke off a plant inside of Armory, that's going to be a whole lot more awkward. So a lot of really important resources just got removed for Furia, and I gotta say SSG are in control of the first round.
100%. They'll peel back after that. Didn't really have the most aggressive roam game at all, if really anything building up on that mid floor. Minus what we saw from Oil Pit over there as that Nitro cell flopped out into Garage. Oh, timing there for Benja, as he won't see the head of the IQ down range, but Furia very quickly picking up the pieces here. They'll adjust off the verticality and the control over that mid floor. You get the player down here towards main. Expect things to start warm up around kitchen and potentially some drops to come in over near Moto.
Yeah, we want to see some real frags coming out from Furia to try to equalize this man count. I want to see Herds come alive in this round because otherwise I think it's just not going to go their way. So much utilities though from SSG. They just used their last Toxic Babe, but they've still got those Zoto canisters from Benjamaster. There's going to be Dread Mines in the site, and also Ashen. Do not forget about him. Playing on that clash will be such a menace.
Monty in and 2 to boot. 3 people up close and personal. Fultz will get marked out here, and this is where things are going to start quite difficult for both respective squads, and Monty will continue to mark things out. They seriously need some sort of entry here, but nothing really happens. JV92 will be able to take down Fultz, and Herds will follow up too, but SSG still more than in the driver's seat. They know where Nate is, obviously Herds as well, as their teammate called him in from Moto. They'll swing into that, won't be able to find the frag just yet. With very minimal time remaining, Furia will be forced to try and move here. Bailiff in hand, and was trying to make the most of his positioning here with that pocket shotgun. Ashen with 1 and Ashen with 2 off of the clash from AK.
Nice from SSG. Didn't overswing in the end there, Sam. They knew they had the massive advantage. Church Wall didn't really get opened in the end there. It was being stalled out a long time by the super out canister. Everybody tried to go Moto, get some space with the Monty, but in the end, it's just not going to be enough. Really nice from those guys on Spacestation able to collect those kills. And think of how much easier that push would have been if you had that Capital, maybe just lodge the blue flare with the fire, maybe provide a plant for your Monty with the smoke. Would have given you so many extra options, but they didn't have it. Had to go and force the gunfights. SSG just did not give them any room. Really nice played by the Astronauts.
Absolutely, and I mean, just a terrible situation there for that Capital. Magazine out of the gun, whole spiel right there. Just no real way to fight back against the Nitro cell. So SSG will be counting their lucky stars, at least for that first round, after they are able to get that first big pick. Gonna head upstairs now to CCTV to see what they can try and build up upon after what we saw inside of round one. Nothing too crazy coming into the lineup. Obviously, they would have a zombie available, but choose not to work her into this operator pool. So, more than likely going to have something else going on inside of Garage for right now. I wanted to make sure that was going on the right wall, and it is. Usually you see a rotation, or at least a soft wall, some vision through that side, but instead, we're going to get a mirror window.
Yeah, this is a wild setup from SSG. So they've got the mirror window looking rafters into the site. That can obviously see all the way into cash, so that if anybody tries to enter through construction, you've got a good angle there. Does limit your rotates, because you fully reinforce that wall. So the Raptors player is basically stuck inside of rafters, but that's kind of okay for J9O. You can make the rotate through the window if you really needs to in the end. Breach will start on this big wall. They also do have the castle down below. Don't forget about that. Newers were setting things up inside of Lounge. It's actually Ashen who's going to be playing that position. We used to see this back in the day. It's pretty rare nowadays to see that Lounge player, the Lounge setup, really come out from defensive teams on this bomb site. Can make it really difficult to take from down below if you're an attacking team. But at the same time, with those castle barricades, if you clear them out, then that might be a free pick that you're able to get onto the player down below. So definitely a bit of a risk reward from Ashen.
Things already starting to become an issue here for Furia. You could see KZ not capable of getting that castle barricade as there's a mute jammer right next to it. So the time sink starting to work up here for Furia. A little dip back and forth here from the Rotero drone. Usually you see them trying to hop up on top of that desk to the left-hand side, because that's a very common place for bulletproofs and anything in between. Honestly, given the circumstances of the bans, getting implemented here over the last couple of months, Jesse, with Siege X coming in, I thought we were going to see a little bit more, Maestro this event, just a tad bit, but really haven't seen too much of him. It's usually just been the usual ragtag operators working themselves in. Ashen will go down. Newers will find one, though, in response. It's going to be onto Philippe Pox. A little question mark in the chat. SSG starting to feel themselves just a tad bit. Benja gets pinched, though. No. Not prepared for the player over inside of Logi.
That's just bad positioning from Benja. It's tough to see him go down like that. Player inside Lodge, he finds the down instead. Now it's going to be man disadvantage for this hold, and that's going to mean the Furia have a big lead as they want to go for this. The Clash is a bit of a problem for them, but they do have answers. 2 air jabs in the pocket of Herds will be likely tossed at this Clash to solve the problem when the push comes in.
Down to a 3 versus 3. These mute jammers, Jesse, they are such an issue. Oh my gosh.
That's the mirror window, Sam.
J90. Yeah, and that's J90 right there too. I mean, that's just disgusting stuff. Herds almost with 2. He knows that J90's waiting off in the ether, but it's gonna be Fultz to take down the last man as he hops inside of CCTV window. A masterclass of defense right now from Spacestation Gaming, but do not count Furia out of this just yet. They start getting any headway at all. This is a team that operates so very well with energy.
Yeah, it was good initial entry from Furia, right? Be able to find that player down below. I talked about how Ashen in that bottom floor can be a little bit vulnerable sometimes. Then they unfortunately lose Benja there, but J9 really comes alive to start turning things around. J9 gets 1 on the door, a second ridiculous pixel angle on the mirror window, and then goes over to the rotate in order to find the player on Breach. He got 3 different picks from 3 different angles at 3 different moments that came very close in succession, back to back to back. That is just ridiculous from J9 to be putting up this early in the game, but that's what he does. J9 is a hell of a player.
I can already see Twitch chat right now.
Yeah.
Where was this yesterday, Jay? What's going on? Well, at least you get it up against Furia right here. Again, SSG trying to make a statement out of this. Obviously, they lose to Secret yesterday, kind of blindsided by just how talented that roster was on Labs. SSG's just not really able to get the ball rolling on that offensive side in that series, and Secret ran away with things. That's really it at the end of the day. They had all the energy, all the sauce. And hopefully they can try and channel that for a great grand final later on today. We'll just have to see, though. Furia, though, reworking things just a tad bit for their offensive lineup, Jesse. Especially with Herds working his way in here. I'm excited to see how they try and use this Gara hook.
Yeah, sometimes we do see rushes where that Amaru will come right in through the main stairs window.
Oh, okay.
You can also bring it up through the hatch if you want to, too. Maybe go for a little bit of a plant inside a gym. Hertz does not have the defuse kit, so I don't think that's going to be the game plan, and he is right outside the main stairs window, so I'm expecting that's where we'll see him fly in. Furia will need to do a little bit of work before that. Of course, both the primary Heartbreachers were banned out, and Habana tricking can be a little bit much sometimes, so they'll just leave it to the Maverick this time around. Make sure that they can simply open up this wall and then expect a bit of a fast push, Sam. This could come really at any moment. As soon as Herd starts that Gara hook, that should be the trigger.
It should be Philippox here and Herds. Should see a flash roll on in and then that Gara hook get flung in through the window. Looks like they're going for a little bit of an adjustment here now they have a better understanding of what SSG's defensive setup is, and honestly not a bad idea at all, Jesse. There is so much solid utility on SSG's defensive end right now that if you did go for that rush, I would be pretty terrified as to how it would end up being.
Well, I think they want to get the Jacuzzi wall first, and then that rush still very much has potential. I mean, Herds is still looking at that window thinking I could throw myself up there and make a big play. Ashen took a lot of damage. He's just hunkered up inside a gym at this point. The Kiba barriers can play some really strong angles, make himself safe from the gym window, and still stop anybody running in the breach, but that'll be the wall soft now. They can break it open with just a little bit of soft reach from the Ash. Second Ash charge can go for the mirror window, and Sam, this push is looking ready to go.
It is indeed. It's taken them 2 minutes to build this up, and now they're looking to knock them down. Ashen will be the first one to fall. Fultz is going to try and assist with this, and he will be successful. So there's not a single person inside of the same zip code to be able to try and pick Ashen up from the offensive side. It's going to be Newers instead to go down first, and this is a beautiful opener here. Furia more than likely going to start looking for this rush. Herds didn't even need to try and fling inside. Instead, he's going to get aggressive just walking up main stairs. Furia with 2 nice frags, and Herds will continue on his reign of terror. It's going to be Ashen to try and figure this out over on the gym side. He'll find one, but are they aware of the bathroom player? They will be now, as Herds is able to take down Ashen. It's up to just Benjamaster rotating in through Logi. Seems like they had some drones over here. It'll be a trade as Furia get their very first round.
Nice little push from Furia coming in from multiple different directions. Of course, they had the Logi player dropping down. That was Philippox with the Candelas of the Ying. He immediately died, and so did the player that was entering towards construction, JB92. So it left it all to the real brunt of the push, coming in from Jacuzzi and main stairs that we were kind of focused on. We were watching Herd's POV, and he did a good job being a bit of a distraction for that clash, but then it was his teammates who really did step up. KZ in particular had a big moment entering in through that breach position, was able to get some really important kills later on in that round. Ended up being a 1-for-1 trade at the very end of it that just managed to go the way of Furia because they had the man advantage. They never rushed that, Sam. They had an explosive execute, but they knew that it would be a lot more successful if they had the walls open, so they took their time, played with their Maverick, got the walls, and then just went for that very clean push with everybody going together. Didn't find success on all fronts, but found enough.
Yeah, I mean, when you start adding in the fact that SSG have a Mira set up and their clash and just all of these different things to really hinder your success on a strategy like that, I think Fury ended up choosing the right path there. Things could have been very, very messy, excuse me, if not. So Furia will continue to try and find newfound ways to deal with Space Station's antics, as it looks like we're going to be getting a little bit of a different look on the basement. As of right now, Benja will be, he's upstairs, but I highly doubt he's going to stick around, just given the circumstances of his operator. He's meant to be downstairs trying to hold on to these walls and these hatches. He'll jump downstairs into Oil Pit. Is he going to try and recreate what we saw earlier?
With the Nitro still? I mean, he's holding the Nitro once again, Sam. If they fall for it twice, then that is on them. There's no way Furia can call it.
Well, you know, as a Chicago Bears fan watching Aaron Rodgers toss Hail Marys at my team constantly, you'd think it wouldn't work twice, okay? But somehow, at least for me, it always does. And then I'm sad. So, well, for this time, Furia, they're not going to work in the garage immediately. Benja's going to abandon it. So makes things a little bit easier for them. Furia is going to start working things in on this top floor. They are going to have somebody peek outside just for a split moment. I do believe that was Ashen hopping out a secret window.
We got the Habana ban after round number 3, which means that these hatches are going to be really awkward. That's why 6 can openers have been brought on the side of Furia, 2 on the side of JV, 2 from Philippox, and 2 from KZ as well. So they've got plenty of opportunities to work on these hatches. The Zoto canisters from Benjo will make it quite annoying, but they don't have anything really to stop the can openers other than just those 2 impacts from Newer. So they should be able to get the hatches open eventually, even if it takes them some time. Fault's on this aggressive main stairs position. We see so many teams playing the smoke here now. It's going to be really annoying to get this player out of it, just especially with the new pipe that's up there and the nitros that can come out from below. Benja still gets value.
A lot of soft destruction there that you have to deal with, and Felipox will at least be able to, I assume, see Volts are there. It's always hard when you have that X-ray vision in those smokes. 2 headshots and a kill for each respective team, but SSG will maintain the man advantage in the circumstances of that earlier pick that we saw. Now JV92 and the rest of Furia looking to try and pick up the pieces. I mean, really, where do you go from here? Some smoke still pouring in towards main stairs. They'll try and get some semblance of a push going from this moto and bottom main side. The shotgun will eat them alive, though that 3rd shotgun shell will not make it out of the barrel. Instead, it'll be Newers to pick that one up, and it's just down to the Monty now. Felipox and Furia just not really having a really positive way of dealing with this basement setup at the current moment. This is more than likely going to be 2 rounds for SSG all off of the basement.
Yeah, Felipox, this one feels a little out of reach. 3-1 from SSG looms on the horizon. He's going to go for the miracle plays. If he's got crazy pistol aim, it's technically doable, but even still, only 20 seconds will finally be cleaned up by J90. Back-to-back rounds on that basement, Sam, where a nitro cell from Benja really tips the scales in favor of SSG immediately into the round. Both times he gets picks on important players in different ways, too. Kills Nade that time, who of course was the guy that was going to plant the defuse kit initially. Because they had that Sledge Monty combo, I wonder if they wanted to go down main stairs through the ash wall, plant then back inside of Armory under the cover of the Monty, but not with the Monty. Could have been a really strong push strategy that I know a lot of teams do like to go for sometimes when Nade is on that sledge. We see that in particular, but unfortunately just not really going to be doable for Fury after they lose that opening pick. Everything just bleeds out in Moto, very similar to how it did back in round 1.
Yeah, Spacestation has done a very bang-up job of being able to put the offense on their back foot and forcing them to play their game. This is something that didn't come easy to them yesterday in that secret series, but now here on Clubhouse, things starting to look easy, breezy, beautiful, as they head up to CCTV once again here to see if they can guarantee a winning defensive side. Newers will have the castle, start building things up downstairs. This is a strategy we started to see adopted about 3 or 4 years ago, Jesse, where people will bring castle and start to hold things up around what we like to call swamp and lounge. Looks like we're going to be having that exact same scenario here.
Yeah, just running it back. SSG don't see anything wrong with what happened last time, so they're going to do it again. Same mirror window, same castles down below. J90 still in the garage. He was the difference maker previously for SSG. Despite Furia getting an advantage on their master side clear, J90 got some ridiculous frags just playing inside of rafters with all his different angles. So, want to see Furia find an answer to him. They do have Nade on the Capitao. Going against a Wamai, it's a little bit awkward to sometimes land those fire arrows, but you can clear those out first. You definitely can have a good opportunity to clear him. Seems like they're going master side again, though, so it doesn't feel like they expect J90 to be that big of a threat. They got the early advantage last time pushing through master, so why not do it again?
Well, Furia going to be starting off on that master side, as you said. More than likely just going to be staring down the barrel of a few angles here for a while, just to see if SSG will slip up, and vice versa. You can hear that mirror window getting reapplied upstairs. Ashen did hear one of them get popped, so I don't know if they made an adjustment and brought that one up from downstairs. They were originally going to put Newers waltzes into Herd's angle, and you think he's as dead as a doornail, but instead he gets 2. You can never doubt this guy. Even when he's got an ump in his hands, man, up close and personal, it's Ashen. JV92 will take him down.
Yeah, JV gets him on the cash window, so that's a nice trade back, but you're still so worried about Newers. He's still looking to get his 3rd Fleetbox on the other side of that main breach. Goes for the swing, hits the shoulder, Sam, but not the head.
Things are more than likely going to start getting down to the nitty-gritty here for Furia. Minute remain, a lot of utility flying out. Nade will go down, but Furia, there is a lot of bark, but 0 bite in this team right now. Very unfortunate circumstances befalling them, as JV92 will be able to pick up another frag, but well, meaningless at the current moment in time as Philippe Hawks is locked outside on plat. Able to at least get Newers, but as soon as he hops in, oh, the crossfire's not there from the top of red. Not capable of finding the player in J90 either inside of Garage, as he has made a home behind that mirror window once again.
Difficult to clutch without the fuse kit too. It was over inside of construction. It went down just as the push was happening. So tough one. Newers again starting with a really good early pick.
Oh.
That's a disgusting second shot that he got. And it just feels like every round, Sam, Furia are losing man advantage, right? It feels like every round they're the guys that don't have the numbers that have bled out either because it's a nitro from Benja, or it's a swing from Newers, or it's something annoying happening to them before they can get together for their execute. And that's fine if you're trading back. But the way these kills are happening with nitros or with Newers just swinging from inside the site, they're not able to get those trade backs. So sure, that's going to be what this tag timeout is about from Furia. Make sure that they can fully understand how SSG are getting these early advantages and then how they're going to stop that from happening in the future.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Brazilian region as a whole, usually this entire place is just a power plant for energy. And right now, the reactor is shut down, Jesse. I mean, you look across the faces of Furia, there's just really nothing there. The eyes are a little dead. So I'm really hoping that potentially if we get an exciting round here for Furia, they can get their headspace where it needs to be. But obviously, after falling yesterday, it can be quite a difficult thing to try and build yourself up for a third place game.
Yeah, I mean, we heard from Philippe Hawks before the game, right? He wants to win this for his organization, for Furia. There's 200 club points on the line, Sam. You go from 300 to 500 if you win this game, which can make a big deal at the end of the EWC circuit, right? Once we get to the end of these 7 weeks of all the different games being played, sometimes 200 points can make a huge gap. I know for both Furia and SSG, they had 0 points before they came into this Rainbow Six tournament. So it's important to get as many points as you can now because we are starting to approach the end and you really do need to start locking them in before you can get to thinking about battling for those spots near the top. Something that Philippe Hawks also said after his quarterfinal win, I do believe in an interview, was that if he ever stops trying his hardest, if he ever starts playing without the want to win, he's going to quit because he doesn't feel like he should be representing a team like Furia if he's not giving it his all. And I think the team needs to really think about that once again. Even in a game like this, you've got to be giving your all.
That's a bar. That's a bar right there. If I'm never not giving it my all, then I must be dead.
Yeah.
There it is. Love that out of Philippe Hawks. We'll see if they can channel that because, I mean, really, Jesse, if that's your mentality, then this is the time to prove it, right? I mean, we've talked about mental fortitude, especially when it comes to SSG, time and time again throughout all of EWC, and now Furia trying to channel that exact same thing. You guys got to get yourself into this darn game. And it looks like this tag timeout might be the time. Here we go. Nade with a kill onto Ash, and that was all pure communication. Benjamaster has to make the most out of this situation, but Furia, they've woken up the beast.
Watch out, Fultz is actually going for a flank red stairs. Just as Jane, I know, is distracting all these players. Commits to a big swing, but does that at least open the door for Fultz?
Oh, no!
Oh,
Nitro out, it won't get too much. Fultz, a massive amount of damage coming in from KZ. He'll have to scurry off and try and find some results somewhere else. The issue is now is that Furia aren't silly. They know there's one person on site and he's dead. They own the keys to the castle. Now it's time for Fultz to try and figure this out, which, I mean, I'll just be honest, is probably not going to happen. Herds will donate himself to the mid-floor and be able to find that remaining player. Furia waking up after that tag timeout.
So it was a good cache clear, right? Initially, that wasn't supposed to be everybody on SSG dies on the east side of the map. It was supposed to be the entry duo, Ashen and Newers, playing together as this combo, or Ashen and Benji, I believe it was, playing together as this combo so that they can work as a unit and lock down this east side. The problem is they started facing so much pressure that the util came out really strong from Furia, and it started forcing them to run around, make moves, start to panic a little bit. They both die without a kill. At that point, SSGs just feel like we need to do something for East, otherwise this game's going to get out of hand. They had a good attempt. If Fultz is a little bit more lucky on that flank, you know, who knows how that round could have gone, but end of the day, Furia just way too clean on the final round, and it's important that they were, right? This is their map pick, Sam. You cannot be losing the first half 5-1. I don't care if it's Clubhouse defender-sided. You still need to be getting at least those 2 rounds. You move to the second half, so they will do exactly that. Look at the exact same operator bans coming through for the second half, Sam. These teams know the meta. They know just how important it is to fight for those walls.
Yep, and just goes to show you at home how valuable those characters are on Clubhouse. So make sure you're working those in too. It'll make your life a heck of a lot easier, especially the Kaid. He's just so easy to apply on every single bomb site here. You know, you think of the rafters in garage, you think of the hatches downstairs, stuff like that. He's just such a nuisance.
Yep.
So you always want to be able to peel him away from the defense. Bandit likewise as well, as he's just so darn good at bandit tricking. And when you really can't work your way in a convincing way to deal with that, that just becomes more and more meta. I mean, obviously you can try and get underneath them on like that CCTV wall, but a lot of teams, they account for that. We saw that with SSG on their setups.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point, right? I mean, you can apply a lot of what you're seeing in competitive games to your own ranked experiences, right? If you're going to a clubhouse, ban the Kaid, ban the Bandit, ban Hard Breach if you're playing on that defense, okay? You're out here banning all of these shields because they're annoying to play against. Meanwhile, you're in Silver. The team against you doesn't even know how to play shields.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Which Silver knows how to properly Maverick trick a wall? Think about that.
Exactly.
I will pay first Silver to do that first try in a lobby. I will pay you $10 Venmo right now. Straight up.
Oh boy.
Straight up. Actually, you know what? That doesn't even work anymore because like.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yep. Nade, what a kill. Nade, what a kill. Beautiful.
You don't have to ban the shields. Just play like Nade does.
Yeah. That's really all you need to do. He forces Ashen into a decision right there with the smoke. Ashen has to try and push himself forward, and he finds that gap on the side of the shield. The frag grenade bounces out of the windowsill there. Not able to get that castle barricade. And it looks like Foltz may have attempted that twice, and both of them did not work out. So, hey, sometimes it happens.
Nading a castle barricade's got to be one of the most miserable things in Siege, I swear, Sam. It just doesn't want to blow up sometimes, and Foltz, unfortunately, not able to get the main stairs there. Means that this roam game is going to be quite safe if they want to make it back to the bomb site. Foltz tried to tackle the problem head on, but instead he just donated the kit.
Yeah. Now SSG, they're at least working their way in towards blue. Neuros will get a pick and start to make this look like there is somewhat of an opportunity for them to work themselves back into round 7. Nade one more Toxic Babe in his pocket. They're doing their best to try and not flirt too much with these angles, but as soon as I say that, JV92 will go down. Taken out by the 417. No real cannon fodder to be found for Furia just yet as they're trying to make the most out of this situation in blue, but the it barely does anything when it comes to dealing damage through that wall, and it's going to go down to a 1 versus 2 here. A situation which seemed like Furia had utmost control. All comes down to the remaining player here inside of Moto. Benja's not going to have another call in his pocket. Benja with a discovery through the wall. Over towards Pipes, he'll find the kill. And what a moment there for Spacestation, as it seemed to all go awry when that case just ends up striking the floor. And for Furia, or rather Foltz, ends up going down.
Yeah, that could have been a huge mistake from Foltz, but Furia didn't want to play the kit. They decided, despite the fact they had a couple of players near there, they were stronger if they went back to the bomb site. They expected SSG to go pick up the kit at some point, but they never did. They weren't really in position to go for a play like that, despite the fact that Newers was upstairs. He ended up rotating kind of oil pit side, go garage, go through secret stairs, lining up with his teammates, and so it ended up just being a brawl down in the basement where Benja was better by a mile. SSG get an incredibly important first attacking round and will take a 5-2 lead on their opponent's map pick.
Well, no Mira here for Furia. The Jaeger and Wilmayan though, which could be of quite a bit of value. Especially with the fact that we do have some frag grenades more than likely working their way in. You got the Capital as well, and Grim. All things that more than likely be dealt with due to those utility pieces that have been brought along. Furia will go for a little bit of an extension over towards Master as of right now. Doesn't mean that that guy's going to stick around. You never really know here, but at a bare minimum, we know Philly Pox will be on a roam. The bar hatch is open. The ADSs are all donated already towards rafters, and Furia going for an oldie, but a goodie here on CCTV.
Yeah, far more of a standard strategy coming out from Furia. A couple of roamers down below could provide some aggression. We'll have to see what they want to do. You never know who wants to rotate over towards that billiards window and cause some problems. KZ instead in Garage is causing his own problems as they do start to breach these walls. They're starting to open up with the shotgun just so that it's a little bit easier for Faults to get this lineup now with the Habana. Should be able to open it soon. Same time, Benjamaster grabs an early pick onto the roamer down below Garage.
I'll make things a little bit easier here for Space Station. This will be able to make that wall soft. I'll hop out here from Herds to take out Benjamaster after he had that nice little pickup on KZ. A little teamwork from Space Station on that frag, but now the shoe's on the other foot. They'll equalize here, although SSG is starting to earn a little bit of map control, starting to open up these angles a little bit, but now here's the true test. They have to deal with this Garage player.
Yeah, J90 on the Blackbeard can toss those nades up, and they've still got the Capitao as well to try to burn him out. But with so much util, it's not going to be easy. And another player has rotated bottom Garage to try to assist the player up above, playing a Wamai.
Well, something you don't often see on this Garage position right here is the fact that they have the walls soft, Jesse, and that is making it to where Philippox can constantly assist with that player trying to hold on to that space. Ends up getting that kill onto Newers, and obviously J90 also getting dealt with over on the main wall, or rather main door for Garage. Now Fultz, rest of SSG, which is really just Ashen, stuck out here on plat, looking to see if there's any semblance of a path that they can really find to push themselves forward. Toss the Brava drone in. They'll try and get rid of that bulletproof to break up the vision that Furia has here, but no dice. You can see KZ still operating that inside of CCTV.
Kind of shocked Ashen's going Garage. You kind of expect him to jump in secret, walk up red, but instead he will take the 1v1 with JV92 and win it, actually. Okay, they have life in this round.
They do indeed. It's 2 versus 2. Obviously, Philippox had to abandon ship down low, tries to bring it back to bear on the bomb side. It's a pre-fire here, but Ashen now with a triple kill, both on quite good HP. Big issue is right now is Ashen doesn't have the case, so we can't flirt with that at all. He's going to wrap all the way around. He's on top of green. I think Philippox is just going to take him for a ride. He is indeed. He'll sprint downstairs. He knows that this player has to try and challenge him. Oh, a pre-fire here. There's no way, right? Okay, Philippox will shut it down. You get a little worried there on that initial pre-fire as Philippox gives up the goods, gives up his own location, but able to follow through at the end of the day.
Philippox brings some life into this Riyadh crowd, gets them excited once again for the chance of Furia to start winning. I mean, it's been a while since they've taken a round on their side, and that one felt a little bit safe for them right up until Ashen got that kill Raptors. In the 3v2, it felt like they had full positioning, but then Ashen just came in and started being a menace. He got some really important kills in that round, but the most important one still eluded him. Really well played by Philippox, one of the most talented IGLs of this generation, and he's helped Furia win 4 international titles. Was hoping for a 5th this weekend in Riyadh. Won't be the case, but even still, one of the most accomplished players in Rainbow Six Siege, and he doesn't lose those 1v1s often, Sam.
Yeah, most definitely. And, it's crazy just what Furia has been able to do across these last 3 years, right? I mean, we've said it time and time again, we've only ever really had one dynasty, which was that G2 era, up until we had Furia and their amazing run out of Brazil, specifically there for, 2024. I mean,
yes.
Just absolutely insane what they were capable of. So, Furia, obviously with that exact same roster as they had during that fantastic period of time, looking to see if they can bring things back now up against SSG. And like we said, although it is a 3rd place series, still a lot on the line, not only in club points, but a lot in cold hard cash too. Big
roam being committed by Furia, and these players are a little bit exposed. SSG heavy committing to going for the clear. KZ being forced out with drones and shots heading his way. Newer's very fast to move through, and it will be Ashen. Cleans up the first player of KZ, was all alone on the top floor. Herds is instead inside of Kitchen, so instead of roaming up above with his duo and playing that double roam, Herds said, I'm going to let you do your thing, KZ, and I'm going to rat in Kitchen, see how that one goes. It's a bit of a riskier strategy, but I mean, clearly thinks that it's going to work against SSG.
All quiet after that pick on KZ. Benji Master will continue to move in through the main space of Clubhouse. This bar area, always a hot commodity, especially when it comes to attacking this basement floor. Are they aware of this lurk here from Hertz, though? It doesn't seem like a drone has graced this space. Sees the Lion, won't be able to take down Benja, though. They know there's a player over here. Benja, interesting challenge as he tries to skirt over to the other side of Bathroom, and looks like this is actually just a hold strategy here from Hertz. Doesn't have the kitchen hatch open, so he can fall back at his earliest convenience. Still looking for this frag, though, as he's looking to limit test as to what he's capable of. Here with these Kiba barriers constantly being reapplied towards that main kitchen door.
Sam, they're pushing him from the other side, though. The shield comes in. He just drops in time. That was going to be so scary. Two players from SSG, both Faults and Benja, walked their way in through Freezer, and I don't know if Herds realized until the very last second, until he finally heard the shield. Could have been absolutely devastating for Furia, but they get out with the 4v4. 60 seconds now for SSG to put together this push. Let the Lion charge to come through. All the utilities still on the Capitao. Good util still from Ashen as well. They want to take their time and work the church wall still. Kiba barriers will be annoying, but they can bash right through.
Yeah, Volt's now the helm of this push here. To see if he can potentially work his way in over on the Moto side. JB92 will be able to take out Ashen. Yet another find here, a whole flurry of kills from Furia. A triple kill to boot. It's down to Benja in behind the bomb chassis, but Nade will make quick work of him. That will be quite the round there from CCTV, or rather downstairs from Furia, as they're able to make some pretty creative plays, especially like what we saw going on around Kitchen.
Yeah, JV was deep inside of Armory, and he made some really nice plays. He pushed just up to kind of that ash wall, the bottom of main stairs, and he got 2 kills through that position. So it was really important that JV got those frags, because it just stunted the push from the SSG. Meant they couldn't really get any momentum going over towards Moto, as the entire other branch of their push fell to pieces. So smart thinking from JV92 to step up and get that finish off. Operator band's coming out now. It'll be the Azami after how annoying it was from Herds last round, and also the Capitao. 2 highly used operators from both teams, but interesting that we don't see Furia committing to that hard breach where they're taking out the Hibana. Instead, they're happy to allow the Hibana plus Maverick combo, unlike the move from SSG, where they wanted to take out all the hard breach.
I think it's a pretty solid strategy for both of these teams, you know? Get rid of that Capitao, make your life a little bit easier when it comes to holding on to some of these power positions around Clubhouse. As well as getting rid of the Kiba barriers for the offense. I mean, a very impactful operator. I mean, Azami, even with the new ban phases, still a consistent ban by a lot of teams. She's just so darn good. Who would have known free-form utility would have been something that was pretty hot to trot in Rainbow Six?
Well, SSG have brought with us a very interesting operator lineup for round 10. We've got Ashen on the Kali, we've got Newers on the Zero, and Faults on the Osa. To go for, I assume, a plant coming in through maybe Jacuzzi, maybe jumping in one of the gym windows or something. This Osa, it's relatively common over on the CC side to maybe open up the breach, and then you can play the Osa outside and make it a little bit safer to hold from out on the breach, but it's pretty rare to see it here for gym and bedroom. I'm really interested to see what Faults is planning with this Osa operator. It'll be okay. I'm intrigued, Sam. I don't know what's going on with this.
Yeah, we'll just leave it open to really anything. I mean, that's the main thing. If you leave your brain empty, you're open to a lot of things, right? So we won't assume. The biggest thing, you know, we used to see back in the day was them popping windows with the Osa shield because it happened so fast.
Yep.
And sometimes you just set up a barricade and,
Ooh.
Okay.
So he's using it to block a player from CC from going for the play to take out a player on the windows. That's really smart. Not going to actually use the shield to play behind it or to plant behind it. Instead, just denies a flank potential. So if Felipox wants to get aggressive and stop somebody who's playing on the master windows, he's going to have to find a way around that Osa shield first. That's a cool use. I've not seen that before, Sam.
So creative. And for those of you that don't have a lot of time on Osa, do realize that the only way to get rid of that shield is to blow it up or shoot that gas canister on the back. So somebody is more than likely going to have to try and work their way over towards construction window to try and get that dislodged, or donate a nitro cell. Ashen's going to hop into a frostbat. And I'm just surprised that of all people, it's the sniper wielder that is currently inside as an entry, working his way in. He will go down to JV92. SSG, though, will be able to tie up the man count.
Yeah, and then Philippox just went for that flank, didn't see the OSA window, shot in the back by J90 over towards Cash side. So SSG, loads of map control to play with, but they're still going to find these last 3 players. That's why they'll swap to the drones at this point, figure out where people are at, where they're not. Good cross being held on the player in the corner. Fultz gets that kill. Looking clinical from SSG.
Fultz knows. The 5.56 delivers. JV92 and Nade, the only 2 that remain, but still a lot to be said inside of this round, especially with so little time remaining. Looks like Newers wants to try and wrap over towards the logistics hatch. Is JV92 going to be prepared, though? Looks like he is. Won't swing just yet, and oh, so many different angles working their way in. There is 3 people dueling this one man, as Nate will be able to at least take down 1. Does have full HP and a dream. A triple kill for him, and an opportunity of a lifetime to decimate SSG! Nade, the twin brother, will be able to take down the whole roster as they entry in from construction and Logi. It just wasn't meant to be.
That's a heart stopper, Sam. The 1v3, everything up until that point was clinical from Spacestation. The OSA plant was so smart to stop the flank from happening. They had good cutoffs around the map so that when aggressive plays were made by Furia, SSG would shut them down. They were watching from all different parts of the map so they could kill those players early and get the man advantage. The Logi drop was great. But Nade just does ridiculous things sometimes, and that's exactly what he had to do this time. The hard support from Sao Paulo managed to show his might here for Furia. It's been the top frag from them so far this tournament, which you wouldn't expect from a guy like Nade, but when he needs to get loud, he can do it, and he's been loud all week here in Riyadh.
Yep, the highest KPR and the highest cost on that team as well coming into this series, which is just truly impressive out of Nade, especially as Jesse was saying, given the circumstances of what he usually has to try and accomplish. He's usually the guy doing all the hard tasks that nobody wants to do.
Yeah, with that clutch too, Sam, with those last 3 kills, Nade will hit 9 in this matchup and will officially be the first player, unless JV got it first. No, JV92 got it. JV92 became the first player in EWC to hit 100 kills. Nade just became the second to hit 100 kills, so congratulations to both of them. Going to be, of course, keeping track of some of those records. The grand finals is still to be played, and I will say Loira is at 99, so unlikely that any of these players hold on to the record of most kills, but still worth a mention, I think, with JV and Nade both having great tournaments overall, and in this game, showing up to make this comeback happen against SSG.
Yeah, I know every time we refer to G2, everybody wants to talk about G2 stomping, but you guys got to realize just how talented that team is across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, it is truly baffling what they've been able to create over there, especially with the fact that G2, anytime that they want to make a change right now, they're like, what Brazilian can we get? Show me the Brazilians. Where are they? They just constantly just keep moving them across to Europe. I don't know if they just like the weather over there more or what. We'll have to ask Alamau. But I mean, whatever they're doing over there, man, they've definitely got something special going on, and you have to be happy for Alamau and Doki because, I mean, guys, 900 days. 900 days since they were doing something just otherworldly with SI 2023. Definitely have to be happy for those guys and the grind they put on over the last 2 years. So for SSG and Furia, what's happening in our game, Furia definitely have to be happy with the result of that previous round and the escapades Nade was able to show. This goes to show you how important Info Game is. They had no idea that Nade was still inside of weights, and he's able to make a mockery of that entire offense.
Well, Sam, in round 11, SSG are hoping to get the thrusters back online because the space station is starting to fall out of orbit as it really has slowed down now for SSG. It's an interesting setup in Rafters. They reinforce both walls over towards site. They don't have a mirror window like Space Station did. So if they do get this Rafters control, it's not as valuable for SSG. They'll have to go for a breach after they get that control, but Fultz does have the ability to do just that. Herd's trying to do exactly what Benji was doing earlier from Oil Pit, prepping that Nitrocell, maybe getting a cheeky pick. J90's got to be really careful with how he pushes in. They do put a drone down an oil pit. They should be able to find that player down below. So really smart thinking coming out from SSG, expecting every angle.
No shots landing for JV92 as he'll feed the entire magazine to the garage door. Going to be a very similar setup to what we saw previously. You can see the utility bout flying in from SSG as there's bees and absolutely everything in between getting flung into the rafters. They'll be able to find herds down low as well, as unfortunately enough for herds, it's J90 on Blackbeard to be the first one to look down that angle, and that's the exact thing you don't want to hear me say. Those shields, well, obviously have a little bit of vision to work with.
Fleetfox answers back, and without much time, too. This is not going to be free from SSG. Only 30 seconds, and they still need to breach from Raptors if they want to make an entry point. False will start first, but they've got to find a lot of ground still with these Toxic Babes if they want to make a successful push.
Well, and how do you do that? You got 2 remaining. There's 20 seconds remaining. That's easy math, folks. Especially with Nade here as well. I mean, something's got to give. They'll try and fling themselves inside, but the smoke, it's too strong. It's going to knock out J90.
Oh.
Fleetfox finds yet another one with the SMG-11. Very quick with the katana, as he'll get a quad kill for himself. Looking for the ace onto New, and he will get it. Furia take the lead on Clubhouse, their very own map pick for the first time. Coming down to the very last round in regulation.
Felipe de la Cia, probably butchered that, puts up a ridiculous clutch coming out there. The full ace if he has to. From start to finish, it felt like SSG were in control, but the one thing that they never managed to control, Sam, was the clock. That was the real issue for them. I think when they got to the top of Raptors, they saw that there was no rotate into sight. They realized, oh shoot, we've now got to do something really, really hard. Jumping in through that window with so many bodies was looking so difficult from Spacestation, and what was probably the best early round that we've seen from them since swapping to the attacking half all falls apart at the hands of the captain. Fleetfox, just a ridiculous play to come out from him, looking oh so good for Furia, and now they sit on match point on their own map pick, something that seemed impossible just a few minutes ago.
Well, if we're talking about the 100 Club, Fleetfox is officially in it.
There you go.
There you go. He was at 88 to start this series, folks. He's got 13 kills right now, so 101 kills, not Dalmatians, for him. Fantastic. And, you know, I mean, Furia, even given the fact that they did end up losing that series yesterday, I still think that they had a really strong showing here at EWC.
No, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt the Furia are still one of the best teams in the world. Can't say that they're the best at this point. G2 definitely looking like a threat. Team Secret as well. Good potential.
The Dark Horse, man.
Later today, yeah, they're a threatening team. They're a lot better than I think people expect. Will be a familiar foe for G2 in the grand finals later today. But before that, of course, we've got to decide who's going to get third place. JV92 almost gets blown sky high. Thankfully, he was able to react fast enough and destroy that Nitro cell.
Oh!
And his teammate grabs the trade. Great job by Ashen.
Yeah, what a find right there. An angle you always have to worry about when you are that Raptors player. That CCTV window, very difficult to deal with. Especially when shots come in like that. I don't even think the angle was open for him. It's just a pre-fire through the soft wall. Ends up finding him. No, that wall was open, so able to at least find him. Just wasn't really occupying that space over towards that left-hand side, so he gets blindsided by Ashen instead. JV92 will go down, but finally Furia able to get some semblance of value out of this scenario as they'll take down J90.
It's a basement defense, by the way. You'd be forgiven for not realizing that, as all the fighting is happening upstairs. Now even more players will rotate up, and Furia equalize the man count once again. SSG have been grabbing so many man advantages, but it just doesn't matter.
What a
jump
find.
out to find the player after he saw the drone. Herds is insane.
Disgusting stuff, and it's a 2 versus 2, but Ashen, he pre-fires the angle, and he'll take out Herds. It's down to KZ. We saw a very similar circumstance in the last round. It was the SMG-11 clutch, and now both of these players making a mad dash to the basement. Which one can be faster? We already know the result. It's KZ. Now it's down to Ashen. Is he aware that this player has already made his move? More than likely, especially after that smoke grenade goes off. He's going to have to run all the way back to the roof to get this case. Ashen a little bit too quick to the trigger to try and bully his way downstairs.
I think this is the right call from Ashen, but keep in mind there's going to be a lot of stalls still in the site. Goyo canisters, which have been set up in the bomb site. There's going to be a castle barricade on the Moto door, which he's going to have to worry about. And that last Toxic Babe, that's not nothing. So Ashen really does need to be careful. It's pretty obvious where he's going, and KZ is already going to start smoking it.
The real question is now is how many of these hatches have we actually been able to work get open?
Basically none, right? I mean,
no, he doesn't. He doesn't have that one open. He doesn't have bar open because all of SSG was focused on that upstairs area. He's going to make a rotate, but now he has to commit. KZ? KZ's so close here with the shotgun. I mean, yeah, positive position for the M590, but you get a little scared that potentially the goods could get given up. He's going to wrap around over towards Moto, runs back over towards the other side, constantly getting marked, and this should be it. An easy blast will settle Clubhouse as Furia will win their map pick in max regulation.
And a ridiculous comeback from Furia, showing exactly why they have such a dominating record on Clubhouse. They moved to 7-1 since the start of the stage. I mean, ridiculous stuff coming up from Furia, like another day at the office. Didn't start off so clean. SSG got off to an early lead on their defenses, but on the attack, it just fell apart at the end over and over and over again, Sam. Man advantages tossed away, and Furia confidently taking them for themselves.
Very well done, because it definitely did not start off well, did it? SSG looking pretty solid when it came to their defensive setups and constantly making things quite difficult for the Furia offense. But once they were in control of that defensive end, the reins seemed to never leave their hands. And now we'll be heading down to the analysts to see what they have to say about Clubhouse.
We have a lot to say because starting things off, we're thinking, okay, SSG is looking good. Defensive rounds, we're getting going. And then all of a sudden, the script is flipped. Furia switches things on. SSG is on the attacking side, and everything starts to crumble.
Yeah, let's not forget the game plan from SSG here. They clearly remove all three hard breacher on the side of Furia, which made the attacks much more harder for this. And at the same time, they played Turtle almost all the time. You see the players they were playing, right? They played Mira, they played Azami, they played Tuberao. Everything to have so much utility for Furia to problem solve. And that was really hard for you, for Furia especially, to try and attack. But as soon as they were in defense, they could get more aggressive, they could play off the individuals, they could have these moments where they could go and get a multi-kill. That's a strength of Furia, and that's 5 rounds in a row to win the map.
I am disappointed by both of their attacking sides, I'm not going to lie. From Furia's side of things, I want to call what we're calling the best team in the world, a team that is able to problem solve from the early round to the mid round to the late round. They were actually just doing the same strategy over and over and over again and hoping that it would work, that it would sort of dissect the defensive side that SSG was throwing. How many times J90 on rafters in the mirror across that bomb site there?
With the Wamai and so many disco all around him.
How many times are you going to go up against this guy? He's in a power position. You need to dissect that if you want to get in. They didn't. They just kept running towards him, feeding him kills. You can't keep lacking adaptation if you want to be the best team in the world. So I think both teams suffered from attack frenzy, and that's all.
I think as well something that Ashen touched upon yesterday specifically was the fact that they always need that first map. That first map is always the one that doesn't go their way. So I was actually very impressed when I saw the first few defensive rounds, and I'm like, okay, like they're doing well here. Maybe they did beat the curse, but it doesn't look like it. But also important to take into consideration here, Leo, is the fact that this is Furia's map pick, and I don't think this is as perfect or unscathed as they wanted it to go.
Oh, definitely not. But then when you look at the rest of the map, they're going to go and play Chalet. They're going to go and play maps like Cafe, for example. They're right now on an 11 win streak.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not scared at all. I actually think the map veto was, in a certain way, really favorable to Furia. Yeah. I think now what matters really are the captains, the leadership here. We've spoken about Fultz and Felipox so far before this match. Fultz dropped the ball hard. It was 5-9 or 5-10, I think. Felipox almost on triple the amount of kills. Right now, we're seeing two different leaderships, two different leaders, two different momentum.
We said that yesterday they both stood up. I think Fultz has run out of energy a little bit coming into the day, maybe a slow start to the ignition of that spaceship. But I think as we're looking at these leaders, I'm going to be looking at the entry players. I'm going to be looking at everyone else going onto a map where you expect players to be able to put in a big bit of brute force. That's what's it's going to take into this next map, I think. Unfortunately for SSG, depending on the starting sides, I'm going to make assumptions about starting sides here, of course. Defensive sides is where everyone wants to start for the most of the maps. I'm hoping SSG has a good start and end, because you look at a map number one, you've already referenced it. I'm a little worried that SSG is just like, we've lost map 1, Furia is really good on map 2. Should we just try some random stuff? Do you know what I mean? Some teams come in and do that.
I don't think SSG necessarily would be the team to come and do that. I feel like the way that they're run, you know, with the coach behind them and the philosophy when it comes to the sports team. But again, something that we already touched upon earlier today with Rexon was it comes down to who shows up on the day. The level is very close. The teams are very much locked in. But we are ready to head over to a break, and we'll be back with the second map of the series, Chalet, coming up next.
One stun, play kill.
Play kill? Or
Yeah. You can get closer, Kuro.
come here, dude.
Wait, he's
Wait, long,
short.
long.
Nice! Let's go! Make it work, fellas.
Let's go, boys! Let's make it go, boys! Come on, boys!
Bro, baby.
Reach your impossible, Lenovo Legion.
From a region in decline, with little hope left of ever lifting another trophy, comes a group of players that never gives in and never gives up.
No C4 either. It's all on him as the Grim and Pillar with the Bailiff out looks to finish him off.
Just sit back and watch SSG in perfect silence become the best team in North America in one of the craziest and most bizarre runs I've ever seen.
Yeah, make sure you meet us. And we're here to take other teams' keys. Whoever's in our way, and we're there to crush them.
Will answer back from the same position. That repel mechanic that was changed over in Siege Hex will pay off so well for him. 80, but Benja is unstoppable in this position.
The rowdiest team in North America is about to get a whole lot rowdier in Rio.
Welcome back to this best of 3 bout for 3rd place here at the Esports World Cup. My name is Stokes and I'm joined by Jesse J. Chick, and we just got off of Clubhouse in between Spacestation Gaming and Furia, which saw Furia taking that map in a 7-5 fashion. Now we will be quickly moving on over to Chalet to see what the potential is in the snowy, I believe, French Alps, if I remember correctly, for that map. So we'll see what potential we have down the line. Jesse, how are you feeling after that first map, and especially with Chalet as the next one on the docket?
I'm feeling a little nervous, to be honest with you, Sam, because supposedly the best mental in Siege is looking a little bit shaky, looking a little frustrated, if I could say so, after throwing that first map away to Furia after having such a lead on their defensive side and then not able to do anything on their attacks, tossing way too many advantages. SSG looked like they had had enough. And sometimes viewers who maybe aren't just familiar with SSG might get a little confused why we talk about their mental so much, why we talk about them as being such a strong mental team. It's important to remember, before they lost in the semifinals yesterday, Sam, they had won 7 straight elimination matches back-to-back-to-back through both EWC and the North America League playoffs. So Spacestation Gaming have a history of winning in these important elimination games. And beyond that, if you ever hear an SSG interview, they talk non-stop about their culture, about their mentality, about how no other team can beat them in the mental game. There was a great quote from Ashton at the very start of the EWC tournament where he said, "You can beat us in the map, you can beat us in the score, but you're not going to beat us in the mentality." Today, this gets tested to the extreme. Down 1-0, you'll head to Chalet, and we'll get the operator bans right underway for Spacestation Gaming and Furia. Expecting a zombie ban, the most powerful operator here, almost 100% ban on Chalet. Often paired with a Clash, a Kaid, a Fenrir, a Castle. Loads of options to pair with the zombie. And then on SSG's side, likely to be banning shields out. They'll ban a Deimos plus a Blackbeard. I think that makes a whole lot of sense.
And most definitely, Chalet tending to be a map where you need some assistance and not only getting a foothold, but trying to get that initial pick. And both of those operators very good at that in Common Day Siege. So both of those will be removed here from Space Station, trying to limit that factor from Furia. And as for the defensive bans, we'll be lacking Azami as well as Malusi, making things a little bit easier just to clear out the map. Not only from angles you have to worry about, but also just movements, as those wubs can be quite annoying to try and work through, let alone the fact that they do give up the goods in the info game as well, don't they?
Yeah, it certainly do, Sam. And so it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that ban comes through. It is a little bit more unorthodox to see a Malusi be taken off the board, but finds a lot of play on Chalet. That audio information can be really important. So I do like it from Furia. It's going to leave some powerful operators up, but you took off the real issue operator in terms of the zombie. So Furia should still have a decent time getting some of those picks on the window play up around the map. SSG start defense every single map in this series, Sam, so it'll be very interesting to see if they want to adapt their strategy. The Des touched on how passive they played through defense of Clubhouse, but we see more aggression on a map like Chalet.
Looks like we will, at least initially. And I know, quickly scurrying back towards site from the kitchen space. You have to make it across that double door. That can be quite the threat, especially early on, as people love to hold angles on it, rappel near it, all sorts of things that can lead to your demise. Bolts, though, will be droned out on this top floor. As you can see, SSG has gone for quite the extension. Ashen does have some impacts to assist his friend, and they will quickly scurry off deeper into the map.
Good map control now from Furia. Office side going to be contained without too many problems. They're already starting to get to work with some of this utility usage. The Twitch drone from JV92 is getting a lot of good value here as he's just finding out kind of what is the problem over towards Blue Stairs. Ashen doesn't really have a whole lot of utils, so they just flash him and go for the push.
And here we go, the Blitz working wonders here on the top floor with the rest of Furia as they quickly dispatch every SSG member. It's down to just Foltz here as they'll have to rotate all the way from Narnia. Currently inside of Kitchen. Don't know if anybody heard him tear that door down, more than likely not, but they have so many bodies that, if anything, it's really just going to be a pretty easy puzzle to solve. The case is going to be on Nade. I don't even know if we get that far. We actually might. Smoke out here and a pre-fire here from Foltz after that initial frag, but more than likely just going to be a parting gift for him, and it will be. JV92 will swing off the bar door and claim his life. It's a very quick first round for Furia.
Talk about cleanliness on that push, Sam. Just flawless moving to the top floor. The big thing for me was that everybody moved together. The lion charge happened, the blitz came in through the window, the push came in through the library hall as well. Everybody made their play at the exact same moment. Nobody was off beat. Nobody was out of step, and that's the classic Furia that we're used to seeing. Everything working as one oiled machine, and they make SSG fall completely flat on their first defensive round.
Yeah, and it was quite the strategy there from SSG. I mean, a lot of things going on, but Furia, they just kept it very simple. You know, not a lot of crazy things happening, just building up around each other as they go for those entries and then keeping that one player upstairs for the rotations that they ever do work through. But fortunately enough for Furia, they're just so darn good on said entry that they end up getting 4 bodies. So makes it really difficult for Fultz to try and work back into it, as not even a down was gifted over to the defense. So practically a flawless round there for Furia.
We'll go to the other mid-floor site now, Sam, as Kitchen and Dining is up on the docket. SSG hoping to cook up a good strat for this bomb site. Won't have the Malusi. Last time they ran this bomb site back in the NAL, Newers did bring that operator to this site, so he's not going to have that available to him. Instead, he's going to move over to the Castle, which is often another operator that does get targeted for the bans on Chalet. Can make it so that that top floor is a lot more safe and secure from the window angles that do often get played. Furia, a lot of players looking down towards the boiler door if they want to maybe make an entrance through the basement. Moving up West Main can be really effective, but also means that they are potentially going to be aggressing on the top floor as they're willing to start clearing out this utility as well.
Executed the top floor, loaded up. Ashen with the first find though, and Nate's going to start planting. Is anybody aware of his positioning currently? He'll hop off the plant, be able to at least discover one. Slips in behind the light screen as Furia are quickly, once again, dispatching SSG. They know there's another player upstairs. Nade looking for any angle at all, and Furia practically, once again, a flawless round. One body goes down, and that's all it takes for them to get their second.
And that's such a really good round from Nade. Obviously came in Yamaru, he went up the dining hatch. That's why they wanted so many players to enter through the basement. And the key thing is that as soon as Nade made that jump up through the dining hatch and started planting, it was chaos around the map, Sam.
Oh, well.
Della's coming out. You saw Sen's walls as well. No matter what happened, everybody just seemed to be dying, and chaos was occurring for SSG. So really felt like they just couldn't grab a handle on what was going on, and all the angles being dominated by the Brazilians.
Well, I don't speak Portuguese well, but Newers mucho bot.
Okay.
By the way, this whole tack timeout that SSG's had, I want you guys to know, the all chat has just been JV92 repetitively calling Newers a bot in different ways. So I think Furia is starting to have a little bit of fun with this, as you do in moments like this. This tack timeout's still running. Yeah. I think the timer might have accidentally got reset, because we're mic up and we're hopping back into things. JV92 just called Newers a silver. I mean, man, everything's working out. Exactly what you would want from a competitive series.
JV92 loves to play the villain. Over the last 48 hours, he got over 600 Twitter replies because he called Stompin' a fraud, and then on game day, Stompin' proved he is absolutely not a fraud. JV92 loves it though. He dishes out. He can absolutely take it too. It's all love at the end of the day, and it's all just trash talk in the game. But man, JV92 absolutely loves that aspect of the game, and you can always count on him to have an impact. They're playing very close to each other too, so sometimes you might not see too much trash talking in the server, but you can see between the rounds they're standing up yelling across the stage. There was an excellent photo of Alamau after yesterday's win over Furia where he had just the pocket out and said, I own you.
Telling JV92 to hold his pocket, man. That's something else. That is something else right there. And hey, that's why you love teams like this. I love teams that talk mess, man. You need that kind of thing because it just makes series so good. I'm telling you right now, that series yesterday, it still would have been a lot of fun. But just because those teams are talking so much shit, oh, dude, shot it all the way to the stratosphere, didn't it?
No, it's really fun. And we're starting to see it in this game, too. Obviously, with SSG maybe not having the best couple of rounds. Oh, here comes the typing. Here comes the typing. And he's just having a laugh at it. All right. Oh, boy. You start to worry for SSG at a moment like this, too. Right after attack timeout, you lose a player immediately. And again, you'd like to think that SSG have a strong mental, but it's really strong to be, it's tough to be strong after
God. Oh, no. This is just bullying at this point. Newers will fight back.
It's good it was Newers.
He's trying to deal with these playground escapades of Furia. Constantly picking on SSG. Newers like, stop that, please. We'll see if SSG are capable of picking up around here, because otherwise, I mean, it's just going to be Furia having a conversation with them, a quite one-sided one at that, if this continues on.
Yeah, Sam, I feel like the damage might be already done. Somebody on SSG needs to make a play. That's why Ashen's looking for a frag over towards the games window. Doesn't really find anything. Another player over in Mudroom, that's Newers, who could go for a play. They looked at it, but I don't think they know that Newers is in this position. Players on Furia can really start to slow this down. They've got good angles into the back of the site, too. And with this Capitao, they're doing really good work.
Ashen doesn't know which way to go, and he'll be decimated by the player here on game's window, as Furia seemingly cannot do any wrong. Every single round, they donate one player, and they end up winning it. Now, with a plant down, it's looking like a very similar song that will be sung. J9O looking for a frag. He'll be able to find one. So at a bare minimum, at least Furia will lose a couple more bodies. He'll be able to pick Newers back up. But as soon as I say that, KZ waits in the cut upstairs and they'll be able to find that player through the hatch. Fantastic rounds here on the offensive side from Furia as they are quickly making results out of this series.
Nate is the fewest kills on Furia, and he's not going to be the main player that gets talked about. But I want to say once again, his plant ability there was really, really nice. He heard 2 different C4 rips as he was holding the plant key, and he never once got off the plant. He fully trusted Fleetbox to protect him, and you know, that's something that doesn't come off of just a good support player. That comes off years of trust built up with your teammates. Really nice play coming up from both Fleetbox and his teammate, being able to go for that execute, get the plant down, and then everybody else getting frags all around them. We get the next round of operator bans, and it will be a Brava ban from SSG. This is sometimes really fun because it could signal that in the second quarter, SSG will be drastically shifting up their game plan to be playing more operators like Maestro, like Echo, like Valkyrie, that can really take advantage of this Brava ban. They haven't brought a ton so far in this first round. The Wamai probably the biggest benefactor of that Brava ban, and the Mute as well, of course, going to be able to benefit from that a little bit. But it'll be interesting to see through the rest of this game kind of what SSG want to do with that, because usually it means that they've got some crazy strats coming up.
It does indeed. For SSG, I mean, they haven't even loaded into the lobby yet. As of right now, at the start of this, JV92 has the exact same amount of kills as the entire SSG roster through 3 rounds, which is not something that you want to hear a commentator say, but that is the reality of the situation at this current moment in time. SSG are going to continue to try and get more and more aggressive. As you can see them immediately setting things up over on Ego balcony. That shield put up until my discs to assist to boot.
So Furia going to be looking to take this push in, probably through the solar side. It doesn't seem like they've got really any pressure over towards libraries, so that would assume that we would be going solar for our brunt of our push. Can still have players that move around, of course. Nade here on the window with the new repel mechanics can move back over to solar if he is requested to. Faults with a Nitro very much aware of where the threats are going to come from, and if he can pick somebody off of one of these windows, that could be a big game changer. For now, though, the ace charges come through, and panic starts to set in for Faults.
Things getting more and more tumultuous for the defense, especially as that Lions worked its way in, forcing these players to stand still, forcing players back as well, especially after we have that Selma come in from the ace. Furia, not as quick to the trigger as they have been, but that's because they're starting to build things up around the map. You can see JV92 working his way up blue stairs. There's some barbed wire here, but I don't know if Newers is going to get that audio cue just because he is so darn far away. Not discovering him just yet. It's going to be J9O to go down first, and that should be a sign of the times here. Air jab out will get soaked up by that disc, and what a shot out of JV. Immediately decimates Newers. And SSG, I mean, they just cannot find a single positive thing for themselves right now. Up until this, Benjamin Master and Ashen with the nice find, and oh my days, a 2v5 knockdown into a 2 versus 1 just because of some solid shots being hit. It's down to the hard support of Nade, who was playing Lion in this round to try and get something going for Furia. But honestly, they'll more than likely just take this on the chin and keep keep things going. Not that Nade can't clutch this out, but it will be a little difficult here given the circumstances of, well, doesn't really have an E1D to work off. No real drone info to gather either, as both of these SSG members will just wait inside of the bomb site to see where Nade wants to arrive to. These 417 rounds quite loud as well, so know exactly where he is. He'll run in through Piano, and he even knew what was going to go on there. Quickly dies to the player on the half wall next to Bathroom, and SSG will finally get a defensive round, although it came by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it coming out from both Ashen and Benja, two youngest players on SSG. This was the key position, Sam. They never cleared out Solar Stairs. And Ashen played it with the SMG-11 combined with the shotgun, the most powerful close-range combo in all of Siege. He downed the defuse kit as it repelled in. He got the other player that were supporting him, then found Nade in that final frag as well. All credit to Benja, too. If he doesn't get those important kills over towards Office, that round is not won. Both of them had to put up an exceptional performance for SSG to get the first round on the board, but they do just that. The Space Station finally have some life here on their map pick.
We'd hope for SSG's sake that they're able to at least get themselves somewhat into this game, because Furia right now are just running a rough shot over the entirety of Chalet. Even that round, you really can't say that it was insanely convincing from Space Station. I mean, they just hit some shots, man. Sometimes that's how it goes. It was really the Furia show still. So if they end up having a convincing round this time around, all right, cool, I'll give them their flowers, but I'm still all in the Furia camp.
Furia 0-4 on Chalet this season, losing to FaZe twice, W7M, and then G2 yesterday. So this is not a map where they are known to be a strong team. Space Station chose this map for a good reason. They themselves have a 4-2 record, but both those two losses were 8-7s, so they're very confident on this map, and Furia shouldn't be the favorites, but Furia got this choice to start inside. They went attack, and they've been finding some real success with it. Another opening pick for KZ. Traded out at least, but still that hurts losing your Kaid.
Yeah, not exactly the thing you want to go down, especially for Newers, as he has been the saving grace for this roster throughout this entire event. Newers, the newest addition and the top player for SSG coming into this series. Some shots missed by Benja that were pretty critical. Now down to the pistol up against Herds. If he chooses wrong, might be able to get this kill. That is Benja. And yeah, it will happen. He walks directly into his line of sight, and that entire gun model will soak up the prone Benja Master, as he'll be able to get it with the pistol. Now going down to Nade, it'll be a 3 versus 2, as Fultz will be on that shield. I do believe that he will more than likely end up setting that down just so he can be active with this gun. But what a find from JV92. He just walks inside, finds himself an SSG player, and I believe this will be it right here. Fultz, some shots go awry, but fortunately enough, Felipox can't hit his shots either. He's going to have to try and work himself forward with this clash now. Sprinting, trying to find any way, any player to deal with, but it's going to be Nade in from blue that ends up being the nail in the coffin here on this round.
Yeah, not 100% confident in the way he played the clash in the 1v2, but I don't think there was a good chance of winning that regardless of how he approached it. Didn't feel like Furia were going to give that one away. Confident in the plans. Did a good job trading out. Almost looked like they were a little bit overconfident on the clear. You know, the way they handled Benja, I think, was a little bit sloppy. Benja got away with more than he probably should have, but the trades were always so strong from Furia. The fact that JV92 was in the site so early in the 3v2 as well was kind of crazy and completely caught off guard as SG. Means that they will get their 4th round and are now just 3 away from securing that massive prize pool, $210,000 and a 3rd place finish.
Pretty incredible stuff for Furia. And honestly, just I think a really good showcasing of not only their capabilities, but their mental fortitude as well. I mean, guys, it is not easy to get woken up on Grand Finals Day and go, all right, guys, we're going to drive you in here so you can play your 3rd place match, okay? Like, you really need to be able to build yourself up in a convincing way to get yourself in the proper headspace here. So shout out to Furia and what they've been capable of inside of this series, because again, it is not easy to go through what you have in the last 24 hours and still show up and put in some work.
Here's the Maestro I was looking for after the Brava ban. It took a little while, but round 6 we do get it from SSG. False is going to be bringing that one out. It's a kitchen and dining defense, and those Evil Eyes, if they can stay alive, and if False can stay alive to captain them, can be really effective late into the round, stopping plants inside the site, even just giving good information. This is one of the best bomb sites in the game for bulletproof cameras, and Maestros are, at the end of the day, just really good bulletproof cameras, so it makes a lot of sense to bring this operator here today. They've got 4 players roaming the top floor with just Gen.G trying to lock things down below, and he gets an aggressive swing and a down on the nade. Nicely played by Gen.G, but I think that will get picked up. He's able to crawl away. Still wasting a lot of good time and a lot of health off the side of nade as well, which is going to make a big difference late in the round.
Fleepox is going to start working his way over here. Does know that there is a player in that kitchen space, more than likely operating around this angle. It's actually just going to be Fleepox to hold the angle for the hop, just in case somebody does fly out there. JV92 to pick up nade instead. SSG don't even know that they've already gotten some value inside of this round. Benja Master with a nice find here at the top of blue. Hurts not prepared for the player tucked in on the stairwell.
They just love looking over Benja's head. That's twice now he's gotten those kills that way.
Well, he is pretty short.
He's a short guy. That's true. That's true. Having some good effects in the server at the very least. He's able to get some big kills off them. Top floor still a big menace for Furia. They haven't been able to crack this office wall, and with the tuber out, it's not going to be easy, Sam.
Ashen, another one of our short kings, will take out Fleepox. Nice little find there as SSG finally having some bite behind this bark. Discovery mode here for our players as they're constantly trying to find these new angles, and it'll finally be JV92 to get a kill here. Something that's been very easy for him thus far up against SSG on this offensive side. Newers will sprint into Piano.
Okay.
A little clown fiesta there, but they'll be able to get the kill. Nade more than likely going to just walk in and try and find this frag inside the kitchen, and he will do exactly that. He does have the case, but more than likely won't have a place to put it down as all this verticality will work its way in from Space Station. Nice little positioning here. I do believe that's going to be Benja Master on the Legion on that side, if I do know my silhouettes well enough.
That is correct.
Yep. You can always tell, especially when it comes to our frozen boy upstairs, Tubarao, because he does have that nice little hat, doesn't he? So Newers will be able to pick him up through the wall. That's going to be SSG splitting things 2-4. Furia, a very dominant offensive side here on Chalet.
Big kill for the operator with the big hat. Important that they get this to the 4-2 split, Sam. This is an attacker side of map sometimes, but SSG really needs to be able to put themselves in a good spot mentally to win this second half. Probably the most dominating round we've seen from SSG since the map started. I think there's going to be no argument about that because the only other round they won came from a ridiculous 2v5 comeback. Finally get one to maybe inspire some confidence on their defensive side. They'll move over to the attack where historically they've been a bit of a weaker team. 38% attacking win rate before this event on Chalet, 68% defensive win rate, so they have been a team that have been thriving on their defenses, but up against a team like Furia, who again, just aren't a good Chalet team across the board, attack or defense. I think the door is open for Spacestation to take this. They'll ban the Azami as is tradition, the Clash alongside it, and then Blackbeard and Deimos, the same attacker bans being removed from Furia as we saw from SSG.
It's going to be a master bedroom defense to start us off here for Furia. So we'll see what they're capable of with this rather defender lineup that they are bringing to the table. Biggest thing is here is obviously the coaches get to talk in between the halves, which is really nice. I think that's something that needs to be implemented across the board just because, I've always thought that the coaches needed just a tad bit more influence. Minus I get one timeout and then I get that moment, I think it's really cool, especially just given the circumstances of how Siege flows. So hopefully that's something that we'll see down the line more. But either way, coaches get to kind of have a little bit of a conversation with these players. And if I'm Igor, I think that you just take the collar off your team, you know what I mean? Just go, all right, guys, listen. There's a lot of things that can happen here. Obviously, offensive Chalet can be a little volatile to deal with when you are that defensive team. So let's see if we can try and get some early value inside of these rounds. And looks like we might be getting exactly that. Herds potentially looking for some shots out this window early on here. Selma over towards the castle window for Master, a hot commodity angle that is usually adopted by the attackers.
Yep, like to see the castles being set up and brought. With the Azami ban, the castle's your next best bet to keep yourself safe from all these really strong repel angles that the attackers do have at their disposal. Office side seems to be the focus for SSG. There is a Mira extension, and KZ loves getting aggressive with it. He will find Newers. A shield jumps in at him, so he might not be long for the world, Sam, but that's still a good pick.
Nice find there from Ashen. Light screen thrown across 2 from J9O. As I do believe we're going to have a little bit of a death match going on here. You can see SSG was at least there for a split second, trying to get a little bit more aggressive, but won't be able to find too much value off that. They'll slow things up just a tad bit. So we do have that player sitting right here outside of Piano. Philippe Pox will be able to at least take down Foltz as they start to fly in off of this Logibomb. Benja with a find of his own, and then JV with a nice shot over towards Library. Nade will go down. It's actually SSG in the lead right here. J9O able to clean up that downed player, and SSG able to make the most out of this round. They're initially things a little difficult for them, especially as Furia were able to fight back, but now the bomb site working favors for the offense as they attempt to put that case down. It's not even necessary. Just a remaining member working his way up Solarium as he will go down.
I really thought Philippe Pox had done enough to win that round for Furia, Sam. We saw a great flank. He downed the defuse kit, and then he didn't get a second kill, but he forced Newers to go pick up that defuse kit, which resulted in that kill for JV92. So 2 big kills that kind of resulted from the flank from Philippe Pox. It was not read at all by SSG, and I thought that would be the difference maker, but in the end, the site play was just way too strong. J9O on the bathroom window finding massive value. Benjamaster having good picks as well as they tried to push in through the site. So the real frag-heavy players on SSG are showing why they are on this squad and why they could be such a menace. Ashen and Benja in particular, both 7 kills apiece through this very close game so far. Newers hasn't really had the game, and I think that's why he's been a bit targeted too in the all chat. But I mean, it still feels like Spacestation are starting to find their footing a little bit now. Moving on to the attack, it's a great first round, and they're able to use a lot of those outside angles that often do favor the attack.
Well, round 8 warming up now, folks. It's obviously going to be that basement defense, as Jesse was touching on. SSG going to have to try and bring something to deal with that mid-floor, Jesse, and it's going to be the Ram this time around. We won't have a Buck implemented as we normally would, but Ram, she definitely suffices, doesn't she? So
yeah,
we will more than likely be seeing them attack this fireplace area. Newer's already doing his due diligence with that utility. We do have some other means to break up a little bit of floorboards. The Bailiff on Ashen, the DMR on J9O, if they do want to create some small angles and aren't necessarily getting covered by that Ram utility. And now, down to brass tacks. It's going to be Herds on a roam up top and an opportunity. J9O will spot him out, but I don't know if he knew that that player was so very close to him. Yet another one up here inside of Library as well. JV92 going to take a little bit of damage. Don't exactly know where that poured in from, as he is all the way downstairs, but they are going to be able to keep every single body up and alive in this first minute clear through from SSG.
It's pretty rare to see a basement defense on Chalet these days. Most teams favoring the top 3 sites instead. The basement's fallen off in pick rate quite drastically, but Furia are one of the teams that do bring it from time to time. They were 0 for 2 on this site before they entered EWC, and of course have played it a couple times since then. Bit of an interesting flank happening at the moment with that top floor player of Herds. Managed to make some space inside of Master. SSG are aware that they haven't cleared Master, so this is not like a missed drone. They do have a drone inside of Kitchen, so this is a little bit scary now because they might think that more of the map is clear than it is. As far as I'm aware, it's only that one player who's made the flank. It's only Herds, but SSG are in the site, Sam, and Ashen's taking nades.
Yeah, and that's a wall that you want sealed usually when you are playing the basement for that exact reason. Ashen blows the doors off of Furia, and Newers will be able to make things even worse. What a find from Foltz as that stun will take the vision away from Nade as he's not able to line things up. A tie ball game now in between these two squads here on Chalet.
It's good to see Liam starting to have some impact in the EWC tournament. Ashen has had a bit of a rough event so far in EWC. He went -6 in their semifinal game versus Secret. Hasn't had a positive game since they beat Falcons back in the group stage. He's been negative or even in every game they've played so far. This time, though, he's showing up. May have lost the round 12 1v1 to lose on Clubhouse, but he's showing up for SSG now. They tie it at 4. They're starting to bring this game back. And Ashen just feels like he's playing like himself. He's playing as an entry. He's taking aggressive swings when he sees the opportunity to do so. I think he needs to get out of his head a little bit, make sure he can just play as he knows he can so well. Feels like now we're seeing the real Ashen that we've frankly been missing for most of this event. All right, that's the Ashen I'm used to seeing, see?
There it is. There it is. It's what you expect. We got some semblance of that yesterday in their series. I believe we saw him type bot at least one time there on Night Haven Labs. But I do remember this part, Jesse. You want to know what happened right after he typed that? He died.
I remember that.
Very unfortunate. And that honestly just goes to show you how just decimating Team Secret was yesterday. I mean, they were at the necks of Spacestation time and time again, making things so very difficult for this squad. Ashen, I think he's going to toss a smoke in up here and try and operate with that glass scope around the Solarium space, but I don't think Furia is even going to give him the time of day.
No, he drones it first, Sam, and he realizes nobody's directly on the window anymore, so Rain's back in with the smoke grenade. KZ is in the vicinity, as is Philippox, but can't imagine they'll swing it. What a shot, KZ.
Yeah. That Scorpion Evo flutters like a hummingbird's wings. Want to remove the head of yet another SSG player.
Oh! Whew.
Maybe a third? Give it to me. Come on. Yeah, don't move. Let KZ work. Just leave it here. We're all curious. We all want to know. J9? Oh, he's going to step up. Come on. Oh, give it to business, guys. Somebody hit somebody, please. Philippox, it's going to be him instead. Waltzing in with that Scorpion, not able to find the frags. He's going to get out the pistol instead. Be able to find at least one extra one.
Took him some time.
It does indeed. You kind of underestimate how little damage you do through walls with things like the pistol, don't you? And Furia will be able to take the lead again here off the back of KZ's efforts. And man, I got to tell you, Ella's starting to shoot up its stocks here across the last handful of months as well, huh?
Yeah, beautiful play by KZ. I mean, stepping up massive, coming through with this Ella. Gets a 4K in that round. I was just talking about how Ashen was negative for the majority of the round, or for the majority of this tournament, but gotta mention it for KZ too. He was -19 coming into this game. A player you don't expect that from. If he goes negative, if he doesn't go at least +19 in this series against SSG, which don't know what he's at right now, but assuming he doesn't break out of that negative streak in this game against Spacestation, this will be the first tournament since the Atlanta Major where KZ has put up a negative kill-death ratio. And even back in Atlanta, Sam, he had 99 kills and 100 deaths. So it's not exactly a blowout performance like we've kind of seen from him here at Riyadh.
Yeah.
It's been tough to see from KZ, but he is one of the most talented players in the world, and I'm glad we're getting to see some shots of that now in this game against Spacestation.
Well, honestly, it just kind of goes to show you what some of the breaking points for Furia could have been across this tournament, you know what I mean? We've talked about it ad nauseum about how aggressive of a format this can be and how mentally strong you need to be a champion here at EWC. And you know, you cannot be lax at any moment in time, unless you are obviously lax.
Right. Yes.
He's allowed to be that guy, okay? But everybody else, you really want to be hot to trot swinging into this, and that might be one of the things here for Furia. I mean, really, coming into this series, Jesse, we kind of talked about it a bit, but having Nade as your top player, I mean, congratulations to Nade. We don't want to take anything away from him, but that is not what you want from this Furia roster.
Yeah, 100%. You expect to see the big guns like Hertz and KZ leading the charge, and they just haven't so far for Furia. But in this game, we're starting to see some of those numbers turn around. Both Ashen and KZ putting up games that they really haven't been so far through the tournament, so it's nice to see them now stepping up and filling in that role, Sam. I got to imagine the winner of this map of Chalet will be the team who's real big fragger steps up the highest. Ashen and KZ. The initial damage goes to KZ as he does eat a little bit from the window on the Frost, but not enough to go down. Half HP does still remain, and this top floor does still remain as the defensive point for Furia. Fire grades go in, and this solar take will begin from Space Station.
And I know with a nice little find. I don't know if he knows his player's already inside, and he doesn't. Ashen with a kill of his own will be equal playing field in between these two. They know that player is outside, but KZ recognizes the situation. This is why he is one of the world's best. He's not getting in that door without taking a fight. So he pre-fires the wall, able to find Ashen through it, and somehow, some way works us down into a 2 versus 2. Now, are they aware of where this push is going to be coming in from? It seems like it. A swing in, he'll find one, recognizes the other, but the skeleton key, able to find it. It's KZ to nip it in the bud, though, as Furia are going to be the first squad to make it all the way to map and match point.
Sam, there is nothing better as a caster to predict something and then immediately it comes true. I say the team that wins this game is going to be the one whose star player shows up the brightest. It's going to be Ashen, it's going to be KZ. Well, how about KZ kills Ashen in the midpoint of that round in a really smart entry through the office door, and then also clutches the 1v1 to win it in the end. Really good round coming through from KZ. Was able to hear that as well from Herds. They knew that SSG in the 2v2 had to repel in with the defuse kit. They still had one player out there, and as soon as Herds heard that repel sound, he made the move. He went for the play. KZ managed to get 2 kills in that round. His teammates step up big as well. And Furia, series point now, 6-4. Their opponent's map pick. They have not won Chalet all season long, Sam, but in the 3rd place match at EWC, it looks likely and on the horizon.
Well, this could be our final round here, and what is our 3rd place bout between SSG and Furia, and a pretty convincing one from Furia, if I do say so myself. SSG showing some signs of life at at certain moments in time, but never really getting the true value out of what they've really wanted from this series. It's really just been Furia kind of problem solving and eventually finding a solution that has seemingly worked quite well.
You can see it, the fans, they're excited. Traveled all the way from Brazil just to support their favorite team, and Furia are showing them exactly the show that they wanted to see. Big performance now here, 1 round away for SSG. Now in a do or die spot, what do they do? Well, they'll bring out the Monty. False is deciding it's time to bring out the big guns, or the small guns, I suppose, in terms of the Montaigne pistol. KZ somehow survives, sprinting right past the case's window. Sam, I have no idea how he's alive after a move like that. They had perfect positioning on Space Station, but couldn't get the kill.
Yeah. Time and time again, that seems to be the issue for Space Station. Have solid strategy, great players. Just sometimes these shots, these impactful moments slip through the cracks. This could be one that comes back to bite them. KZ has been so magnificent so far here on Clubhouse, or rather on Chalet. And Clubhouse, honestly, had some pretty good showing on there as well. Now we'll have to see if it's going to swing through on what could be our final round. SSG swing in on piano. Nitro Cell out will decimate Benjamaster. Now the Shield player stuck inside of office with another one of our Furia members in behind the half wall. Have another player working their way in on the piano side. It's going to be Nade that finds Newers. A hop in on Case's window from J90. Foltz with a find of his own. They will finally be able to take man advantage in an even more convincing way as well. Won't be able to get that kill on half wall. JV92 flirting with disaster right now as he doesn't know exactly which way to go. It'll be J90 to be able to find that kill, as once again it will require max regulation in order to decide a victor.
Really good stuff from Faltz on the Monty there. Was able to walk in through office. He got so deep, Sam. I mean, there were still players on the side of Furia that were over towards mezzanine, but still Faltz gets just deep enough, supported by his teammates, Benja and Ashen and J90, the real kind of players that were around Faltz to make sure that he could have as much impact as possible. J9 made a late entry. Ashen was deep inside of office alongside Faltz, and together they were able to all capitalize on the fact that eyes were focused towards the mountain. Good play by Faltz to distract. Everybody played as a team to come together and make sure that they could find that final answer. With just 1 round separating the difference between overtime or a series win for Furia, they decide this is the time to take their tactical time out, discuss with the team what they want to focus on, what SSG have been doing, and what they're going to run for their final defense to try to lock it down before you get to OT.
Well, you don't get to keep the tac timeout if the game ends, right? So might as well use it. Something that, you know, as a traditional sports fan, I've been frustrated by my own teams with multiple times, time and time again. But fortunately enough, if you're a Furia fan, you don't have to worry about that because Igor is one of the best in the business. Great tac timeout by him. Might just be giving his players a little bit of a reprieve here for a split second. Might be strategically. We'll have to see here. Furia are going to head back downstairs, though, which is something that we've touched on quite a few times here. Chalet has been one of our most played maps, actually tied for most played map, with Clubhouse, which they will once again rest on equal footing, 8 plays each, because they were guaranteed in this series. We'll have to see what the ban phase is for the best of 5 to truly see who is going to be the king of EWC, at least for map picks. But yes, as for Furia, though, it is going to be this basement bomb site, which, Jesse, what is our current statistics on this darn thing?
Sam,
can you run us a little Corey, my friend?
At the Esports World Cup, so far the basement on Chalet has been 50-50 through 12 rounds played.
Wow.
Does not include this game here, where we did see it get played once earlier on, so been a relatively even bomb site. Again, the least played bomb site on Chalet.
No?
Oh, this should be a free pick right on to Herds.
Only Hordes would be able to get out of that situation, man. I would have stood right there and just got myself rocked. Oh, Herds!
You thought he was out of the situation, Sam.
Out of the frying pan into the fire, my friend.
Right back into it. Really good catch up. Newers, realizing he missed him on the first angle, thinks to himself, where is he likely to go? Probably right back to this window. We get a logic bomb pop, Sam, and heading straight down towards the basement is SSG. Barreling through barbed wire and taking space. Oh,
there's a rocket in Fultz's ass as he's flying inside. It's going to be Benja to take down a player, though. Benja for 2. Can he get 3? A look-see, but it's SSG across the board as they quickly move this game into overtime. Blink and you'll miss it. It's OT in between these two squads here on Chalet.
No shakes. Making sure that you're aware of exactly where Fury are going to post themselves up, and then just playing with good drones, playing with fast hit tempo as well. We saw how effective that was for JV92 in the first half of this game, just quickly getting to the basement before the enemy team thinks that you're going to be there, getting in through wine as fast as you can, and then with the Monty, it just becomes even more awkward to deal with.
You thought he'd been playing Blitz right there. I mean,
he really did.
Unfortunate that he's not able to get the most value out of that, but obviously everybody having to pay attention to the Monty does bring its own value in its own right, and Benja made the most out of that situation, didn't he? As he will be the second player on SSG, or actually the third player. J90 also joins the double-digit party for kills on top of Ashen. So well done to them. KZ and JV92 in their own right, putting those party hats on as well. So overtime now here in between these two squads. SSG will have the most defensive sides here as they will be starting on the defense. We'll be switching sides every single time. It is a best of 3 rounds for those of you that are unaware. So we'll see what our results will be very, very shortly.
Furia's flawless record, a 6-0 lifetime match record against SSG, hangs in the balance if they lose this. The decider matchup will end up being an important one, which could really solidify a legacy. SSG hoping to get revenge from last year at the Esports World Cup, where Furia knocked them out in the quarterfinals. That was a close 2-1 series, I should remind you. So this one goes 2-0 for Furia. It's not just not revenge, it's a step backwards for where SSG were a year ago. Certainly not where they want to be finding themselves, especially in an oh-so-important 3rd, 4th place game. That double defense should help them a little bit, Sam. They've been a better defensive team on Chalet through the years.
They have, but I gotta say it, this series right here, it just hasn't been looking too good, has it? They had that one very convincing defense, I'll give them that, but that initial one, kind of have to count your lucky stars. Yeah, hit some really nice shots, but shoe could have easily been on the other foot. Fultz is gonna be inside of the tub. with the strategy, we haven't seen it a little bit. Sometimes you'll have a player just prone in there. Sometimes you'll have a deployable shield with 3 ADSs. This time around, it's going to be the latter. And the Spolts will do his best to play around this bastion of defense that SSG has set up. Furia not feeling themselves, at least enough to fling themselves into the space just yet. Probably the one man that you don't want to throw your flashes into, the Warden, lying in wait on this bathroom window.
Got a lot to clear. Loads of flashes being thrown in. 1, 2, 3. All the ADSs are gone, and here's the nade, Sam.
Will he live? He will, but not until the guns come alive. The 417 will eat Fultz alive, and KZ will find one of his own.
And that's why that strat's not popular very often, Sam. Teams know how to clear it, and they do just that. Perfect from Furia. It's flawless. Now SSG in the 3v5 feel like they have to get aggressive, right? Bomb site's still going to be top floor. They need to find some way to work a pick before this push comes in, because Furia in a 5v3 execute should be unstoppable.
Yeah, it's not a feeling, it's a necessity. SSG is going to have to try and find that magic that we saw in their last defensive side, where it was that 2v5 and they were able to make the most out of the situation. Their numbers being called up once again, down to the 2 versus 4. What do you have in store for us, gentlemen? Let's find out right now. J9O, he's going to take the gunfight with the 417. It's so strong, it's going to knock J9O down to very minuscule HP, which JV92 didn't even necessarily need to take advantage of. He hits the headshot there on the follow-up frag to what he got from the bathroom half wall. And now Furia once again in the driver's seat, 1 round away from securing victory up against Spacestation Gaming in a 2-0 fashion.
Of course, it was a great execute. They did lose 1, but it ended up being kind of a 4v2 push. I've got nothing bad to say about how it went for Furia or for SSG, but I go back to that start of the round, Sam. 2 players died in bathroom before anything else happened, and you go back to the way SSG set it up, it's a lot of util, but it's not infinite util, and a team like Furia are going to know how to crack a walnut like that. They will secure that series point and take away SSG's first defense. Now can go into the defensive side of their own. All 4 bomb sites available, and they go for barring games. Spacestation Gaming, I just feel like, Sam, they needed something better for their first defensive overtime because they might not get a second.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, my friend. Especially from what we saw out of Furia, they've been really prone to kicking up that sandstorm and making things just kind of get lost in the chaos on these defensive sides here. And I feel like we might have another just critical mass round where things start to just get lost inside of said storm. So we'll see what SSG are capable of. So we'll be let out of the gates for what could be the final time here at the Esports World Cup.
I'm reloading.
Setup being done from Furia all across the map. Quite an extension currently. I mean, I'm not sure if they'll commit to it, but Herds and KZ, the roaming duo from Furia, playing up towards office, towards master side at the moment. Philippok's extending for himself as well, down in big garage. I don't know what plans he's got down there, but he's finding Newers, and there will go for a gunfight.
What a find there. Fultz backing up Newers on that entry over towards the garage, but even with that pick, they'll at least have a little bit of info to work off of, knowing that SSG was prioritizing that space. A nice find here and a nice trade amongst peers, as SSG and Furia will still stay at the same man advantage, lean towards the offense. Now Furia, unfortunately enough, lacking a smoke, lacking Philippok's for some roam pressure. Things start to become a little bit more difficult for barring games.
Yeah, I like this spot a lot. It means somebody else needs to step up and try to equalize. JV92 just going to fall off that mez position. Here's a big swing. Kazazi knows there's a second. He's still getting pushed from this spot. He might get traded, but they missed the shot, Sam.
They do indeed. And that Banshee giving up that info as well for that player. Norris has repositioned himself, but oh my gosh, look at this tuck here from JV92. He peeks out, he finds Newers.
Oh, wow.
And Furia somehow, some way, they're able to fend off Space Station. J9O, he's stuck inside of mud. Benja off on his own island as well, and that is it. Furia will